Thank you, Liz, for inviting me to answer a couple questions. So I'm going to answer the best I can. As far as what diversity means in books, in 1965, Nancy Lyric wrote an article called The All-White World of Children's Books. And she documented how there were so few people of color within books, writing them or within them. And she actually said, across the country, 6,340,000 non-white children are learning to read and to understand the American way of life in books which either omit them entirely or scarcely mention them. In 2017, the Cooperative Children's Book Center at the University of Wisconsin reported that just 12% of children's literature contained African American characters or was written or illustrated by African Americans. At what cost? What I find fascinating that Nancy Lyric said, which had never crossed my mind, is the impact of the all-white books upon the 39 million white children is although his light skin makes him one of the world's minorities, the white child learns from his books that he is the kingfish. Think about that. If we have an all-white canon, we are actually supporting that idea. In 1963, a woman in Australia, a teacher named Sylvia Ashton Warner, published a book called Teacher. It's amazing. It influenced me much more than I ever thought until later I picked it up again and went, oh my gosh. What she found out that the kids wanted to know the fear words. They wanted to know the sex words. And so she fed them the words that she referred to as their inner language. Words like kiss, brothers, butcher knife, jail, love, dance, cry, bulldog, wild piggy. And I believe that that's the point, that we need to find books for our shelves that feed the inner language of our students. We cannot possibly give them all the words they want. What she did was mind-boggling. But we can find books, and we just keep finding them until we speak to every child's inner language. And once we have that, then we can teach them the other things we want to teach them. But we have to find, they have to find themselves within the books. So you have to get enough books that every student can find themselves over and over and over again throughout your entire library. So my advice is, I don't read the books because they're not about me. I don't think I'm the best judge of a child's book, whether or not a child will like it. Of course I want it to have a happy ending. Of course I want the person to struggle against man versus self and win. But at the same time, it is up to the kids. So I let the kids vet. I use other people's recommendations. If they have students that have actually read the books, then that's where I start. And I just keep throwing them on the shelf until I see what happens. And when they get worn down, I know that they're the right books. That's the books that they love the most are destroyed. So thank you, Liz, for asking me. I hope I said what I was supposed to say. I hope it helps. Thanks.